Get out of there. All right. Uh-oh, do we have Tatum on screen?
He has something in his mouth. I don't know what it is. What is that?
Stirring stick? I can't tell.
I don't know what that is.
Basically, I think that falls into the category of just anything that was on the floor he could get a hold of. Hello, Tatum. Tatum chewing away. He is our sometimes co-host when he's not pooping and peeing on the carpet and eating things he shouldn't. But we're always glad to have him because he makes up for it by being cute and really affectionate. So
Wow!
he is a cuddler boy, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. So this is our last episode of Husker Heat. Things did not. We didn't get the didn't get the dream ending we were looking for down in Oklahoma City. I'll tell you what. When you report on softball, you're not always in a press box. I've never been so grateful to be, because this is a place obviously that's built for the national championship. So very large, impressive press box, and most importantly, air conditioned. It was about 98 or 99 on Saturday or Sunday, and then the Monday games were. I mean, I was thinking about going, maybe scooting out to the second Texas Tech Alabama game for the late one, and it was at that point I'm kind of wiped out anyway. And it's 88, 89, and I'm not going to be unwiped out with adrenaline since the Huskers aren't playing. So after all of that, and both of them lose their first game, we get back to a rematch of Texas and Texas Tech starting tomorrow. And
Did you just get back today?
Yeah. I got a hotel through Tuesday just in case we made it to Monday, and then if we did that, then I was going to go ahead and get it through like Friday night and check out Saturday. But we have Texas and Texas Tech, and I don't think, outside of their own fans, does anybody really like either of those teams?
No.
I mean, Texas Tech, they were the villain to start the season because
they bought their team.
Yeah, well, I still find it hilarious. I mean, I want them to win at least a game against Texas. I'd like them to win it all. I take them over Texas.
Oh, any day.
There is just nothing funnier than Texas fans bitching and moaning about Texas Tech spent all this money. It's like Texas was one of the biggest bagman teams before NIL came along, and they are still out. They're still one of the teams that's in the top tier of attracting NIL spending. So just shut up. It's like, that's the thing. Everybody gets upset Texas Tech did it, but they weren't ever really a factor before. So why are we mad that they're a factor now by spending a ton of money? Because, all these other schools that spend a ton of money, they're not hated for spending a ton of money. But it's always, everybody gets upset when a new one does it. Like in football, oh my God, look at the NIL that Indiana's spending now. Yeah, and they're freaking Indiana. It's like, I guarantee you, it's just not as easy as dumping NIL into the pot and it equals winner. But you got to have it to have a shot. So everybody that bitches about the schools that have never won, this is what's good about NIL and the transfer portal, is they can't give a kid a bag, refuse to let him transfer, and then you've got all these third and fourth string 5-star kids that probably want to go play somewhere, but they can't. Well, guess what? Now our last national title game was between Miami, who hadn't won a title since they beat us in 2001, so 25 years. I guess it was 2002, but the 2001 season, and Indiana, who had never won a national title. Because this is what we want, right? We don't want those years where it's like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, just in the top. Those two are in the top 5, and they're still there, but the top 3 or 4 teams aren't 2 touchdowns better than everybody from like 5 or 6 on down. So that's where we're at. Is he winning? Looks like Tatum's winning.
He is.
Okay. So anyway, and so people that get mad that Texas Tech bought their team. Well, they bought their team and they were ranked 11th or ranked 12th and seeded 11th. So it's not like they dominated college college softball, but they maybe are connecting at the right time. Now, another reason to hate Texas Tech is one of the All-American. Also, I don't know if Nebraska fans noticed this. One of their steals was getting Desiree Spearman from New Mexico State, and she wasn't one of the big names, wasn't an All-American, but diehard Husker fans might remember her from 2 seasons ago, when not last season, when we beat everybody in the New Mexico tournament, like that A&M Corpus Christi team, like 23-0 or something, and we're just ruling everybody. But the year before, New Mexico State actually upset Nebraska, and Spearman threw the complete game, like 2-hitter, and then had like a home run and a double. So she was kind of one of the, like under the radar big signings they got. But yeah, they got Caitlin Terry from UCLA, Taylor Pennell from Tennessee. Pennell?
Panel.
She pronounces it panel?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Taylor Panel.
You mean the liar?
Well, that's exactly where I was going, where she apparently, I don't know, like she left Tennessee, and I don't know, this makes me wonder, is it more than just, hey, she got bought from Tennessee, or she just freaking hated Tennessee? And that played into it too, because she was apparently still so angry that she decided to tell everybody that Karen Weekly, the Tennessee coach, when they were going through the handshake line, told her, you made a big mistake after Tennessee beat them. And unfortunately, you don't realize you've got mics everywhere, you've got cameras all over it, and the cameras are going to be watching to see what they do. And what they did was nothing. And you could see Weekly say something, and it apparently jibed with her just going good game and moving on. You saw they had the breakdown. You saw no reaction from Panel, and you see her go through, and then they're walking away, and then she turns around and yells something, a good 30 seconds after. What's going on?
He's been ringing the bell. Connor, your dog has been ringing the bell. Please take him out.
Oh, I can't hear it.
No,
bell?
But I can't. And Connor should be able to, but he's playing video games, so he's not paying attention.
Got it. Connor, we got to take the dog out, man. I can't send Miley away to do dog chores in the middle of the podcast. Aren't you guys out there watching, just so happy for the level of professionalism we bring to this? Connor, take the dog out.
I've texted you twice. Take the dog out.
Yes, you get that. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you get a father and daughter doing a show together. But anyway, yeah, Taylor Pennell basically got caught lying about her former coach. Panel, and also not a good look for Texas Tech there. But I'll still take them over Texas. And if there's one reason for that, it's white chocolate, baby. Jason Williams, basketball fans. Basketball fans, I guarantee you, he played high school, went to the same high school with Randy Moss, and the two of them both played football. I think he said he talked about Randy Moss in football, because everybody, Hall of Fame wide receiver, but they said he also played strong safety and just wrecked people. And they said also he'd kick it off, he'd kick the extra points, he'd punt. Said he was doing all the kicking, and said if he wanted to keep playing football when it came time to retire, said he could have gone, and he's like, I'm not kidding. He could boot it 46, 47 yards a kick, and he could have been punting in the NFL. So and he said he was just one of those guys. I guess the two of them together with like Moss, just at an absolute next level. Like Randy Moss could just play any sport, has multiple skill sets, is not just the guy running like the 4.31, but incredible athlete. And so he played basketball, he played baseball. So did Jason Williams. Well, Jason Williams' daughter, Mia, plays for Texas Tech, hell of a player. In the first of the two, like when they had to win the 2 games to make the final, she hit the walk-off homer to win the first. She hit a few homers against Florida. And Jason Williams played at Florida. And because of the way Florida was acting up and the trash they were talking in the Super Regional, the Texas Tech Florida Super Regional, he basically has said he's cut ties with Florida. And he was being interviewed, and the guy went, well, here's Florida basketball legend, Jason Williams. And he went like, former Florida legend. What? He's like, that's right. And it's like, so just softball or just Florida? He's like, oh, Florida. He's like, I'm done with him. And he goes, unless my daughter goes back there to play again, I'm done with him. And they said like, well, you got a younger daughter. What if she goes to Florida? He goes, well, then I'm coming to you guys to help me with some money, and we're going to double whatever NIL Florida's giving her and have her go to Texas Tech.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he was quite like, I mean, he was just one of the ultimate. He brought all the street ball skills to the NBA. I always wondered this. In an interview, somebody asked him where he got the nickname White Chocolate, and he said he thought it was the marketing person with the Sacramento Kings when he was a rookie. And he's like, he goes, I was down with it, and he goes, the brothers liked it because if you watch Jason Williams play and you listen to him interviewed, he's a hilarious interview. That you realize he did not grow up on the white side of the tracks, and he's just a lot of fun to have around in anything. He's still playing like adult rec league ball now, and I don't know what he is, probably 50s maybe. And he is sitting there talking trash in the rec league games. They had a shirts versus skins going in one thing, and a guy must have I think he got cheap shotted in the air. And if you get cheap shotted in the air and you've ever played ball, nothing will piss you off more because that's how you can get really hurt. It's just a chicken shit move. And he is just laying into this guy, this hairball on the skins team. And he's like, yeah, you ain't nothing but a big pile of chest hair and shit. Just letting this poor guy have it. But fun to have him involved. I'm sure they'll try to catch him in the crowd, and he'll do interviews and just, if nothing else, just go to YouTube. Aw, sweet boy. Just go to YouTube and go White Chocolate highlights or Jason Williams highlights and just enjoy the next like 10, 15 minutes of your life watching him do his thing. So, big news. Well, let's see. We might as well. It's like the first big news came yesterday. Jordy's going to be a mama, and turns out she played the last 3 months of the season pregnant.
I mean, she played it the whole season except for February pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. That really is just 4 month season the way they cram it in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like we were talking about this yesterday. Obviously, that wasn't family planning there. So, we're not going to go into that at all. And if I see comments like them, I'm just going to ignore them and delete them. But yes, she did not do this to intend to start the family early and hurt her team or whatever. No, it just.
I mean, she was still National Player of the Year, and she's
still National
been
Player of the Year
since March. So
yeah, and granted, and I mean, I can say this because I reported it. I did it like before we played Alabama, and I said her hitting's been off. Who knows if that's the reason or not? But I did say she was only hitting 219 in the postseason, starting with the Big Ten tournament. And that was before the Bama game or the Texas game, maybe the Bama game. But anyway, she ended up hitting like 222 or something like that. Did that affect it? You know what? Maybe. Who cares? She put Nebraska on it. She took Nebraska next level in softball. That's what I care about. Wish them the best. And that I do think now we know why she didn't get in the AUSL draft, because obviously when the golden ticket thing started, she knew she was pregnant and obviously wouldn't be able to play their summer season. So, good for her. Congrats to them. Obviously Trey's all fired up about being a dad because he's running around in red pinstripe overalls and getting kicked out. And then I love the way that he managed not to get kicked out, like holding his arms over his head while the two brothers hit him with the DX of one arm each from the side. Hey, can't kick a guy out just for holding his arms over his head. So way to think next level. Good for him and good for them.
Well, now we know why she wasn't laying out at first base against Bama too.
Yeah, what was there? Was it just
she missed like 3 balls at first base in that game?
Oh, just for base hits or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been.
I don't remember any errors.
Really? She had like 2.
I don't think
at least. At
we
first
even have
base,
2 errors in the Bama game.
We did. Yeah, we had 2 errors.
Okay, I don't know. I'd have to go back and check.
She missed. It was gonna be just an out at first, but she missed the throw.
Oh, okay, yeah. That
times.
Wasn't like okay, but yeah, I don't think that was her error there. That was the error on the throw. But anyway, and then the other huge news today is Lori Sipple announced her retirement. And just to give you an idea, she had been an assistant coach for Rhonda Revelle for 37 years, and she, played 4 years at Nebraska. Still holds a bunch of their pitching records just because she pitched in the 40-foot mound era, and now they obviously years ago they moved it back to 43 and a half, and that's when offense, it's a much more fun game. One of the best decisions they ever made. But on the other hand, nobody's touching Lori Sipple's record. She had a career ERA at Nebraska of 0.58 and a season record of 0.37. And now you still have some pretty insane ERAs with these pitchers, but these are like 0.91, 1.15. I think what's her name, Briski had like a 1.19 ERA, and Jordy had a 1.15 ERA going into that game. And do you think about that? Sipple's ERA is less than half of those, but back then it was just like all you saw him doing was chopping, bunting. It was bunt city, and the third baseman was almost always about 20 feet from the plate. It felt like, and it wasn't a real no fault of the players, but it wasn't a real watchable game back then. It was just Debbie Doom, and was it like Fernandez? I think was the other pitcher. UCLA, when they won the national title, beat Nebraska back in the late 80s, and you just couldn't hit either of them. Like I think one of them had a 0.21 ERA and the other one had like a 0.17 ERA. They gave up like single digit number of runs all season. It was just shutout after shutout. So Sipple we're gonna miss. What's that?
I was gonna say, what's weird is that I saw like on Facebook like an article from one of those like fake pages or whatever before the news had come out, and it said that Sipple was fired. I was like, what the hell? I was gonna send it to you because it was before the news came out, so I was gonna send it to you, but then I was like, well, this is a fake website or fake article like page or whatever, so it's fake. And then it came out that she was retiring. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and she's Canadian, so 41 years. I mean, that 41 years playing and coaching at a school is just next level. This person bleeds Husker red. And in addition, she played on it in softball. She played on a Canadian Olympic team, and then coached the Canadian team head coached the Canadian team in the Olympics. And it's like they either got fourth or they got a bronze medal, and I think that's their highest finish. So yeah, pretty impressive person. And I did a little tweet today, and I still remember running into her. I think it was before the 24 season was about to start, and Nebraska the year before just had like two healthy pitchers, Courtney Wallace and Sarah Harness. And I noticed they had 5 pitchers on the roster the next year. They weren't going to have that happen again. And I went up and she didn't like doing interviews. She just leaves all that to Rhonda. But I went up to her and asked, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, "Oh, I don't really like to do that." Then she goes, "Okay, if it's quick, I'm like very quick," and just asked her about the pitchers. And she told me, and then I kind of shared with her the story of how I started, because Liv Farrell and Miley played hockey together, and I coached Liv in hockey. Like they started at about the same age. And then when I started covering softball, like one of the reasons I did it was, well, I want to cover sports. And you know what? Haven't seen Liv in 5 years. I'm sure I'll run into her and like her mom and dad or dad up there. And so went up there, and they in 22, and they won the conference tournament, which was a bit of an upset. Like Northwestern won the regular season. And I mentioned, and I told Lori that, and I said, and also I said, I just started really enjoying the game. And she got a little smile on her face and just went, kind of addictive, isn't it? Miley, is college softball a little addictive?
A little bit.
A little bit. I mean, it's a fun sport. I think one of the things going for it, obviously, is the time. Like, it's not a 3.5 hour baseball game with managers, coaches coming out. I mean, the coaches can take a mound visit each inning, but in baseball, I mean, it used to be why I didn't like going to the College World Series. These games would be 3 to 4 hours long, because we got a base runner on first with 1 out, and here'd come the manager, and here'd come the infield in, and it's like, you've played Little League. I think you know what to do with a runner on first. And if it was just here and there is one thing, but it was like, oh my God. And then the other thing they did that was super annoying when it was legal was you were allowed to like fake throw with runners on base. You could fake a pickoff to another base, And then if you did it to another base first, then you could do it to first base. So every time there were runners on the corners, fake pick off to third, fake pick off to first, everybody dives back in, and they just do it over and over. And I'd just be falling asleep. And softball moves, man, and they score, and it's intense. And then you get to the College World Series, in the postseason, the intensity ramps up. Obviously, it's too much for Tatum, and yeah, and it's just a very, very exciting game. So anyway, yeah, that was just a fun thing Sipple told me. It's addictive, isn't it? And I think you saw some folks get addicted this year who might hang around, beyond the Jordy Ball era. And that begs another question, and I'll put it to you. Right now, we don't need a lot of detail. I'm gonna probably do an article on that, in the next week or two. Is this the best Husker softball team ever? Miley?
I mean, I just started watching softball a couple of
Yeah,
years ago, so
yeah,
to me, yeah.
yeah. Well, I know, and I've been popping back because they've been there. I think what was this, their seventh trip, but they hadn't been in 13 years. And I think it was Rhonda was talking at one of the post-game press conferences about Taylor Edwards, who I'm pretty sure she was an All-American. She was like, absolute stud for Nebraska. They went to the College World Series, and Rhonda said Taylor Edwards told her, and I think a lot of people thought that was the best team they'd had, said Taylor Edwards told her, we didn't believe like this team believes. She said, whatever you need to get next level to have a chance to win a College World Series, she says they've got something we did that our team, who was very, very good, we didn't really have that. And Rhonda said it was just one of the best compliments that she got about that team this year. It was a former player on a great team going, this team right now is a better team than ours. So I thought that was pretty cool. But that's something to think about, because I think it might be the best team ever. I know they had a team that made the finals against that one of those UCLA teams back in the short pit, like the late 80s. But man, this team was just something. It had power, it had speed, it had two solid, it had two All-American pitchers. And I think that was like the only time, this year is like the only time we've ever had two All-American pitchers on the same team. And obviously Jordy, but then Alexis Jensen. So I don't know. It's something to think about. Anything else? So that's the pregame talk. Tell you what, we got some comments tonight, so let's roll with those and see what we got. Wade Farr, he got his in before a half hour before the show started. And that's the heartbreak. Why can't we win it all after getting so close in all sports? Always breaks my heart. Go Big Red. Yeah, when you get this close, and I'll tell you what, when we got knocked out, what the hell? I mean, we knew this team just won again and again and again. I mean, they went, I think their final record was 52-8. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah.
If it's off, it's not off much. So incredible record. And if you think about it, they lost 4 of their 8 games in the first 2 weekends. And in 10 games, they went 6-4. And those 6 wins included wins over number 1 Texas in week 1, and then they were replaced by Texas Tech in week 2, and we beat Texas Tech. And then the weekend after that, we're beating ranked SEC team. I think we played over half the SEC this year. But yeah, the crazy thing was, though, everybody believed, look, Jordy, it's like Jordy needs to snap back. She'd gotten knocked out of the Bama game early, and I think she could have gone, but Rhonda just said, you know what? Let's take her out, make sure we have her tomorrow, and let's give Jensen her chance. And Jensen pitched really well. No earned runs, struck out 7 in 4 innings, only gave up 2 hits. She showed she's, again, she's ready. She can compete against these big teams, which is good to know going into 27. But Jordy, in the article I said, it's like we need Jordy to snap back. And I said, pitching wise, she's been great. She's been way on top of her game. Like she was lowering that ERA every weekend and shutting people down. So I wasn't that worried about her having a bounce back from Alabama. It's like, fine, you gave up a home run. And so she comes out the next day, she hits a leadoff home. I said the hitting, it's like if they're going to move, then she's going to have to turn the hitting around real fast too. and it looked like it was happening. Bangs out that homer to start the game. Ends up 1 for 4 with that homer, but then she's on the hit or in the circle and throws 4 perfect innings, walks 1 in the 5th. And somebody actually asked her in the press conference, and I'm glad I don't remember, because I asked one question before that where I knew I was going to get a little crap from Rhonda. Of course, I'm pitching Jordy. But this one, somebody goes, "So did you ever think of pulling her out before that 6th inning, where she gave up the homer?" And Rhonda just kind of looked at him and goes, "Well, I don't know. She had a perfect game through 4 and a no-hitter. She had a no-hitter going still with just 1 walk going into the 6th." She goes, "Yeah, at that point, I don't think you pull your best pitcher." And
No.
so, yeah, that was silly. Yeah, yeah, sure. Singles, like infield single, nice rip single to right, and then the home run from Katie Edwards. And I think she's up to her 30th homer now and probably close to 80 RBIs. Katie Edwards is just a monster. And what happened is just a rise ball got left fat in the zone. And just as Oklahoma State's coach said about our hitters, and the Arkansas coach said about our hitters, the Texas coach said, he goes, "Jordy's unbelievable. She made a mistake, left one in the zone, and Katie Stewart did what a good hitter should do and punished it." And so, yeah, we had been doing that to others. It happened to us. There's much worse things in softball. It's not bad luck or screw job when Katie Stewart, you make a mistake with your first big mistake in the game, and Katie Stewart punishes you for it. That's why she is who she is. There was no shame in that. And I did learn something too in the press conference after the game. I didn't know Texas coach Mike White was from New Zealand. I mean, I was waiting for him to go talk about, we could go throw some shrimps on the bobby,
Oh
stuff.
God, that was awful.
Yeah, of course it is. And but yeah, and he seemed like a really good guy. But I'm like, we had an Oklahoma State coach who doesn't talk like anybody who's from anywhere near Oklahoma, and Kenny Gajewski, and now we got Mike White out there, and I'm like, okay, what brings you from New Zealand to coaching softball in Texas? Apparently, he was an amazing men's fast pitch player. And somebody told me that because I said, I had no idea he was from New Zealand. He goes, and he was also a great fast pitch player. And I'm like, that I 100% believe, because looks like a fantastic coach as well. But anyway, let's see. It stinks. It hurts. What I said in the wrap up was, it wasn't a ton of people, but it's a mob of Husker fans walking by, because basically, we walk out a door, go down a ramp from the press room, and then 10 feet away, here's an elevator that we take down to the press conference room. But of all the ones, I'm not seeing anybody crying. I'm not seeing anybody like carping or bitching and moaning or looking angry. Stunned is too strong a word. Everybody just looked confused, because I think a lot of that was Jordy was going to go throw a no-hitter and we were going to beat Texas. And then bang, home run. Okay, what just happened? That's not our that's not our Cinderella story here. Why did we didn't lose? We lost, did we? It just doesn't feel right. So that was kind of the reaction I saw from the fans. So yeah, it broke my heart too. But I'm so proud of this team. Connor was Tatum. Hi, buddy. It's tired being a maniac, isn't it? Yeah, Tiger Shark Diver. I'm a little upset, but still go Big Red. Yeah, I was a little upset. I wanted them to win it all. And this was a team that had as good a chance as anybody to win it all. I thought they were built right. But okay, Nebraska strong, go Big Red. And we talked about this. Rhonda Revelle cost us against Alabama by starting Jordy on 1-day rest after pitching 10 innings and 130 pitches. What a boneheaded decision. I disagree. Obviously, 2020 hindsight. I disagree. If you look to it before, she's still getting a full day's rest. And if you remember, she started.
But she was struggling from the get-go.
Right.
I think Rhonda should have seen that and made the change early.
But she did make a quick change. She pulled her out after the second inning, and that's after
they had like 3 or 4 runs already.
3, yeah, in the first inning. But you can't say after seeing that they got 3 runs that she should have pulled her. or in this case, shouldn't have started her.
Okay,
But
but
yeah,
then
but you don't
she
know
pulled her
that's
from
going
the
to happen.
mound and then she put her on first base and she continued to make mistakes.
Well, I got to go back and see. I don't remember like the throw you're talking about wasn't her fault. That was
No,
just a
there were a
careless.
couple throws that went by her. She just
Well,
had a rough game.
yeah, I don't remember it that rough. I'll look back
I bet
afterwards.
you don't.
But it's easy. But it's easy after the game to go. No way, I'm starting Jordy, and I asked Rhonda. I was doing it for a friend there who's out working his camera, and I tried to frame it. Okay, this isn't second guessing. This isn't 2020 hindsight. I went, it's not 2020, but what I said, what are the thought processes in deciding who to start in that game? And I kind of wanted it to go, hey, Jordy on one day's rest or a fresh Alexis Jensen. And my thing was, I'm going with Jordy because remember last year she started every single game in the postseason.
But that's what bit us in the ass was not having another
That
pitcher.
we lost the final game 1-0. I don't think that's Jordy's fault.
No, I'm just saying last year, what bit us in the ass last year was Jordy just being exhausted because we didn't have another pitcher that could do what she could do.
Right, but exhausted Jordy lost her final game to Carlin Pickens 1-0. The game before was like a 2-1 game. She wasn't. It's not like she was getting wrecked.
I didn't say that. I just said she
You said she
didn't
was
have
exhausted
anyone.
and nothing in her
Okay, I'm
pitch.
just saying she didn't have anyone else to help her last
No, we
year.
know that, but nothing in her pitching last year suggested she was exhausted. But anyway, but then Ron answered me, just looked at me and goes, "Let's see, two-time All-American, WCWS MVP, best pitcher on the team, all Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, Big 12 Pitcher of the Year." And I'm just like, okay, that's fair, but I just kind of wanted to know if you considered maybe Jensen was a little fresher. But I even said I would, if it was me making that decision at the time, I probably would have gone go ahead, because then she threw 40 pitches, then turns around the next day and is throwing a great game for 5 innings against Texas. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. Did it cost us Bama? Maybe. But do you know that before the game, or are you going with somebody who was bouncing back after complete games with no rest over and over last year in the postseason?
I mean, maybe Texas Tech has it right. Well, they've been like switching pitchers.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like, yeah, I agree, but I'm just saying, can you say that you honestly would have been 100% Alexis Jensen before the game with no idea how it was going to turn out? Because my thing was, okay, we've got a day's rest here. I also asked Rhonda, like, what, and she gave me an answer I didn't expect. I asked her, what is it that gets tired for a pitcher? I said, because I don't think it's the arm, because they can come back throwing day after day after day. I said, so is it like the plant leg where you're hitting that thing on the stop every time? And Rhonda actually said, she goes, I can't. And Jordy had left. What they were doing was they were bringing in the players, thanking them, and then asked the coach questions. And so Jordy wasn't there. And so Rhonda goes, well, I can't speak for her. She goes, for me, when I was pitching, if I got in a long game, she says it was actually, she said, her forearm, from all the twisting and spinning and gripping, that the forearm would start to kind of get tired, not sore, but tired. So that was interesting. But anyway, I was glad somebody asked that, because yeah, that obviously there's a couple schools of thought on that. Let's see who else we got. Yeah, horns down, low tide, attaboy TSD. The only thing I was going to be happy about if Texas or if Bama got in there was, hey, at least our 2 losses were to the 2 teams in the final. So I was pulling for Bama against Tech just for that reason. Yeah, they were at high school in West Virginia, and yeah, did Moss run at 4? Did he get under 4.3? He might have. That's very possible. Let's see. He goes, then Rhonda. Oh, we got more Rhonda. Rhonda made another boneheaded decision versus Texas by keeping Jordy in too long. Jordy gave up 2 hits that were blast. No, she didn't get. She gave up 1 hit that was just a sharp grounder in the hole. The first hit was deep and was just a deep grounder to short that Ave actually made a good play, just not throwing the ball, even though they didn't need the help. That was one where somebody's going to freak out because they're in the World Series and just fire one into right field. So that was a good job, just knowing she had that was Caden Henry, who's incredibly fast. So no, she gave up an infield single. She gave up sharp single on the ground to right field, gave up the home run. But like you said, she entering that inning, she's working on a no hitter. So
yeah, Texas, that wasn't a bad decision at all.
yeah, and are you really going to pull her after just giving up like a couple singles to the fast girls? I can't disagree with her on that one. I'm afraid it's like you got a no hitter. No, they were like I said, those weren't blasted hits. So I'm not pulling her because she gave up her first sharp hit of the game. I'm not. Let's see. Sorry, don't mean to be disagreed with you on everything. They're strong. We love you. Yeah, Tiger Shark Husker sports fan is not for the faint of heart. And speaking of that, yeah, it's really not for the faint of heart. And boy, do we have a lot of fans who aren't for the faint of heart. Sometimes I'll give our fans a little shit for being too nice, but my God, do we show up? Oklahoma City is. I mean, here's the thing: our game against Arkansas Thursday, highest watch game. I think that drew like 1 point. I think I have them in here. I've got it in the mail here. They were the highest viewed game, and that's when they had like. Hang, I do want to look that up. Give you just a second. Gmail. Okay, first one. Yeah, Thursday. Now the session with Arkansas, us in Arkansas, in it, Women's College World Series attendance record for a session. We had 1.4 million viewers for that game, which beat out UCLA, Alabama, and Texas, Tennessee. And then then they said after the Alabama game, that was another session attendance record. And let's see, and then viewership for like the go home day was, let's see, Texas Tech UCLA did get 2 million, Nebraska Texas 1.9, and Tennessee Texas Tech 1.9 million. And I would not be surprised if it was another session record in that Texas game as well for attendance, because brother, that place, it was hotter than hell, and that place was packed. So yeah, and supposedly Husker fans were just running wild in Bricktown again, and this was for softball, not basketball. So yeah, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna put this up just because. Andy, just be honest, you like watching the women pitch with the tight uniforms. Guys, these yeah, Miley's making the face because I'm like, guys, these are girls younger than Miley. And then when you get them in the press conference, yes, they are on their way to adulthood, but they are kids to me. I'm 61 years old, and these gals start talking, and some of them are a little more polished than others, but mostly yeah, no, I'm not enjoying it. It's not really enjoying watching the gals pitching in the tight uniforms anymore. Let's see, Andy, this was the first. What does it say? This was the first time we had won. Well, we didn't. We've never won a College World Series, but it was the
no won a game. Won a game.
Won a game. Okay, because we must have gone 0-2 and 13. So yeah,
we did.
And one of the questions people are going to be asking is, now do we kind of slide back down a notch? Can we get another pitcher like that? Blah blah blah. I'd say give her a shot, because I remember after 22 or after 23, we got no shot, and then Jordy transfers. Yeah, we're good. And then Jordy blows her knee out. Oh no. And then she loads up in the portal the next year. Because they thought they went the shot because Billy Andrews and Sidney Gray and that group are gone. And oh no, now we had a chance, but now we're not going to have any hitting for Jordy. And the next year she hits the portal. Obviously get the Kamenzens, we get Cusack, Casey Hoffman, and bang, we hit like 346 as a team. Our average goes up about 30 points. And then got Jessie Farrell this year. I'd say, we've lost what, 13 seniors, 12 seniors? Was it 12 seniors? 12 on a 23 on a roster of 23. So we've got 7 recruits coming in. So we still need probably 5 to 7 players out of the portal. the way she's been hitting the portal, I would say let it play out before we throw the surrender flag on this one. I know it's hard to follow. Why do we lose all offense when it counts from Tiger Shark Diver? Because we are facing one stud pitcher after another. And other teams, I mean, let's look at it this way. I mean, think Texas was like us. They were averaging about 7 runs a game. And yeah, they're scoring 3 against us because they're facing Jordy Ball. And we're down to, funny story. When Jordy and Tegan Cavan pitched against each other in the game before we beat Texas, and they both just got rocked. Cavan got ripped for about 7 runs in 3 innings. Jordy got ripped for 6 runs in 3 innings. Texas won 15-10 in a game that we were up in the bottom of the 7th and had the bases loaded. And I can't remember who was up. We had some power up at the plate. And it was like, hey, we were one swing away from this being like a 15-14 game with 2 outs. And the starters were Cavan and Ball. But yeah, we faced Briski. And Hannah Camenzind hits the home run. And she just said, all she did was she said that Briski, she's got good velocity, and said she can hit all 4 quadrants of the strike zone wherever she wants. And she can mix her speeds up and has good ball movement. And so, yeah, and she was like, I think the SEC pitcher of the year and maybe national pitcher of the year by one of the publications. So yeah, because you're facing somebody like that in every game. Who did we go through? We went through Robin Herron, who was Arkansas's ace, who had struck out 178 batters in like 123 innings. And then we faced Briski, and then we faced Tegan Cavan. That's why your hitting kind of goes. I mean, look what our hitting did against Ruby Malin in the Super Regional. Ruby Malin's an All-American, and we bashed her twice. So yeah, that's part of it right there. Nobody, UCLA averages 12 runs a game. UCLA against us scored. They averaged 12 runs a game. I think they scored like 7 or 8 runs 11 runs in 4 games against us, or something like that. UCLA doesn't go out throwing up 12 runs against top end pitching. So that's the reason. You're just, there's nowhere to hide unless you get into like a second game in a day, and they have to start going deep into their pen, and that's where UCLA will just gets crushed if they have to take Taylor Tinsley out. Then the rest of that team has a 6.23 ERA, so you're just hosed at that point. Let's see. Nebraska struggled. Let's be honest. Our bats cost us in the College World Series. 2 runs in 2 games is not going to get it done. You're not going to beat any of the top teams with only 2 runs of offense. No, of course not. Yeah, but somebody is asking, but why is this happening? Top pitching, and we do have notoriously streaky hitting. Look at the regionals when we were shutting everybody out, and we what did we score? 4-2 and 1 runs, and we won 4-1, 2-0, 1-0. So it happens. Let's see. Here we go. Tiger says he knows why we always choke on offense. Even softball looked like they didn't belong with the airs. That was more like the Alabama game where that's where we were kicking it around a little. Yeah, and then there he goes, Jordy. Yep. Connor, at least the Huskers can't hurt us for 3 months.
Hey, there's still track championships.
Yeah, well, yeah, they still got the NCAAs. Yeah, they're not really I think that's going to be like a lot of years. Or Oregon is kind of just the home of track and field. Steve Prefontaine. If you've ever seen they weirdly made 2 Steve Prefontaine movies, and both of them are really pretty good. One of Miley's favorite, President Snow, Donald Sutherland played the coach in one of them. Bill Bannerman's a legendary track coach. But let's see, Connor, 61, Holyoke. Yeah, the age. A compliment, Tiger Shark. Andy, you're 61. My lord, I thought you were 45. That's right.
Suck up.
That's right.
No.
Oh, TSD's not sucking up to anybody. Believe
he's
me.
Sucking up to you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. You come join us for more of the movie pods, and you'll see how that's not in
because
his
you
makeup.
talk too much.
All right. No, that's the job on a podcast.
I know, and I don't like it.
Dummy.
I don't like talking. I don't like talking. You just force me.
I know. I get pissed. All right. Let's see. Notice SEC teams beat us, but I think we ended up, I think, with a 500 record against the SEC this year, because I think we were 5-3 going, and then lost to Bama and Texas. So let's see. There we go. Connor, SEC teams only beat us because they cheat.
God.
Okay, here we go. So going forward,
should we bring him on?
Who? Connor?
Connor.
No, we'll be fine.
That's mean.
It's not. You say yourself, we always talk over each other.
Jesus Christ. The Connor and my father are the same person when it comes to talking. They like to talk a lot, and they have to be the one talking. So when these two get in a room together, they just talk, but then they talk over each other. So one's getting really loud, and then the other's starting to get really loud. Oh my God, it's a headache.
She's not wrong.
No.
I'm not going to deny it. Okay, so going forward, Andy,
they say you marry your father.
Oh, geez. Well, only if your father is a lot bigger. Okay, so going forward, Andy, do we want to see Husker softball continue to recruit women from Nebraska, or do we chase 5 and 4 stars like Oklahoma and Texas? Funny, just quick sidebar. Funny thing about this team, because people talk about, hey, well, this team, like Texas Tech, they just hit the portal. But Nebraska, homegrown team, like, well, Nebraska's both, because what is it? 5 of our Nebraska homegrowns came back, went other places, and then they are both homegrown and from the portal. The Kamensons, Casey Hoffman,
Bella Bacon.
Jordy. Make that 6. Bella Bacon and Casey Hoffman.
You already said Casey Hoffman.
Did I say Casey? Okay, then Bella was 5th. We were both. Well, there's a ton of talent in this area, so I think there's room to do both. I would absolutely, and I'm betting we do chase. It's just, they want to stay down there. Years like this make it better, or give us more of a chance to get those players, because I think a lot of them are just like, well, these teams from the north can't come down and win at all, and in UCLA, I mean, they're like a southern team, since they're a warm coastal area team. But we keep getting to super regionals, making a WCWS here and there. I think we can throw our hat in the ring for some of these, from Texas, the South, Louisiana, Georgia, wherever, Florida. I think we can start getting players from there if they see, well, you can go to Nebraska and win. What's that? Hot dog cookie?
It's a hot dookie.
Ugh, that's just gross. Is that I hope that's for the dog.
No, I think it's fake.
Okay. Well, anyway.
No, it's.
I say, my thing is, I say we keep, because I think where the places where mostly they're going to play out of Nebraska, these players is like the Kansas City area, maybe St. Louis. I'm only guessing there. I've been told Kansas City's like one of their, kind of magnets. But you look at it, we're getting some top-notch players from this region. So there's no reason to just start trying to get as many of those as we can. But yeah, we have to win and show that we can win, and may have years like this for, I think, the Southern players to seriously consider us. Otherwise, they're like, well, every year it's 8 warm weather teams, and so if we go to Nebraska, it's almost like, we're surrendering. So, I think that's sort of the wait and watch. Tell me if I'm wrong there. Connor, talk about kissing up. No, Miley is a born charismatic leader. I speak for everyone when I say we want a solo Miley show. I can make that happen. Miley, what say you?
Huh?
What say you? We're gonna have to next year. We'll have a solo Miley show.
No, we won't. That it'll be canceled that week.
No, I'm gonna get sick. I can feel it now.
That's good, because then it's canceled.
Yeah. I noticed that it seemed bone lead corn fed, like that name. Welcome. I noticed that it seemed like Jordy missed the zone a lot, or was it the ump's blindness? There's never a great place unless you're like right behind the plate to get a good look at the zone. What are you laughing at?
I can't show you.
Okay, good. Don't. but I don't think she, if she's missing, she's not missing by much. I mean, she walked like one player in each game, something like that. And she had an insane like 8-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So control is never. Jordy's the type of pitcher when she walks somebody, people start freaking out. What the hell is going on here? This was true. Strike zone did seem tight against Texas, which but still she's out there, through 5 innings and no hit ball and only one. And that I think she struck out 9, walked 1 in that game. So yeah, but when she walks it, it's like something's wrong. And Amy Just, reporter for the Lincoln Star, I believe it's Lincoln Star. We were talking kind of about the quirks of players on the field, like how Hannah Core prays to the dirt in between every pitch is one of the things. But Jordy always does the little kicks up chalk at the front of after each pitch. And if it's a call she doesn't like, because she doesn't sit there and bitch or stare anyone down, but she will kick that chalk a little harder if she thought it was a strike. and she kicked the chalk a few times against Texas. But yeah, that was a little the craziest strike zone shrinking I ever saw was 2 years ago up at Michigan. They swept us, and that thing would turn into a friggin' mailbox whenever we got ahead of the Michigan hitters. And I won't out the person who told me, because I was sitting there, and here I am up in a press box up above the bleachers down the first base line. And so it only looks to me from the side, and kind of you can tell high or low, and that's about it. And this person was pitching, and it just seemed like every time she got ahead on a hitter or a 3-2 count, and she just threw one down the gut, then it was ball 4 and it was only in certain situations. And it's the only time I've ended up like with a room in the same hotel that the team's staying at. And Liv and this girl were down having breakfast, and I came down and I was like, all right, I asked her, I said, can you tell me, did this happen? Was this guy shrinking the zone, like, especially when you got to full counts? And she just went, oh my God, thank you. Like, she apparently, it's the kind of thing where you just got to pretend it's not happening, keep pitching, or then all they're going to do is warn you or throw you out. But yeah, she said they were absolutely, like, she was just throwing what she thought was right down the gut. And it was just, nope, taking it, ball 4. Yeah, so it happens. It especially happens in the Big Ten. From what I saw, because of where I said you can see it, I usually like to check the people sitting behind the plate when it comes to that, to see if I'm getting reactions there. Because everybody on the first and third base line is all sauced and oiled up, and they're all an expert on the strike zone from the side, which is pretty funny. But you'll just see the people behind the plate be like, eh. And I didn't see a lot of reactions behind the plate, So I think overall they called it good. But I would agree. I thought it got a little tight against Texas. I will absolutely agree with you. If you can't tell, we're just kind of winging her a little tonight. And I'm going to start with Miley to run the show here on out. No, I'm just kidding. Get in the comments if you want. If you have a particularly great memory of this season,
I'm leaving.
Not first.
I gotta go to bed.
You got to go to bed, but first you're going to give us give us your best memory of this season, like game or moment or whatever.
Oh God, probably beating Texas and Texas Tech
in those first 2 weekends.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That kind of I think not just let the fans know, but I think it let the team know themselves. Yeah, this isn't Jordy. We can play with it. Just Jordy. We can play with anybody. That's a good choice. You're taking off?
I'm taking off.
Let me see the dog.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 8:57:24. Oh, sweet boy. Yeah, this is what he's like when he's not. No, what? There go the flop here. This is what he's like when he's just being a sweet cuddly boy, and he does enjoy that. All right, Miley, thank you much. Enjoyed this season. hopefully next season isn't quite as stressed for you as you will be not quite a year into your married life. Are we right? Am I right?
Yeah.
And not just constantly having to worry about a wedding. So I don't care what anybody says. I appreciate you.
What?
I almost got
Dickhead.
away with it. No, I do. I appreciate the hell out of you. I really enjoyed doing this with you, and I can't wait for next season.
And hopefully they make it to the College World Series again so I can go to this next year.
There you go. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Let's see what else we got here. And what I was going to tell the rest of you, anybody that same thing, but biggest memory, Ava's home run is there on the table. Whoever gets that in first. And real quick, if you check out our Twitter feed, at the very top, the company that made the I Love Jordy shirts and a couple other softball T-shirts has made an Ava Kuzak one. I don't know how, I'm not trying to play limited edition, but I'm not sure how many they're making, or if they do another run or whatever that is. But and I get no part of it, so there's nothing in it for me. But it's like it says "Meet the Moment" and Kuzi's walk off or something like that. And it's a pretty cool shirt. I'm going to end up getting one, I'm sure. So, but the link and everything's I've got it pinned right at the top of the Twitter feed, and I'm gonna leave it up there through the finals. So something to think about. But yeah, moments. Go ahead, and I'll start throwing them in myself. Let's see. Yeah, Connor Tatum. Here we go. Nebraska. Since the Huskers need a pitching coach now, can you ask Rhonda if there's any chance she hires Jordy to be the new pitching coach? Well, you know what? I get the feel. It was a thought of mine, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. I think she'll run. She's going to take her shot at pro softball or whatever, because you don't want to stop playing your sport. And that pro league, is loaded with some of the legends of especially the recent legends of softball. So it's very competitive, and I think they'll keep finding new ways. I would expect to see her on that staff, though, and as far as taking over, to me, Rhonda pitched too, so she'll always help with the pitchers. But Olivia Farrell, she'll be starting her second year or third year as a full-time coach. But even before that, she was a grad assistant. She's a former Husker pitcher, and I would look for her to take a much bigger role working with the pitchers now that Coach Sipple is gone. What I will miss, and I'm telling you what, it still feels so surreal for me to have been, it not only there covering these games in Oklahoma City, a national championship event, but then heading down to the press room and asking questions and seeing quotes and people being retweeted from the press conferences, and me just going, I asked that question. I totally asked that question. I a little, pat on the back for me, sure, but it was just surreal for me, and I was just trying so hard to appreciate it, and the fact I was there covering this event, getting to ask coaches and players questions at this event, because who knows when it happens again, right, Nebraska fans? Yeah, it's like, it sucked that we lost. What's the last national championship we've gone to? National championship event. So I was really just trying to soak it in, soak in the moments, that type of thing. But yeah, my thing is Jordy, yes, but it might be 4 or 5 years down the road. It was a few years down the road for Lori. Lori, I think, I'm trying to think. Well, she was coaching, what did they say, 37 years. So 96, so 87. Well, I think maybe she was only a couple years off before, like 1 or 2 years off before she started coaching. I take that back now that I do a little of the math in my head. Oh, hey, here we go. Bone lead corn-fed. Like the Jordy statement, it wasn't her that changed the program by herself. It was everyone. That was my question. Not that specifically. I just said, tell us about the journey what it was like to help build Nebraska up. Understanding this is not the way you wanted it to end, but yeah, she gave a great answer, and yes, that was me. Yay. Great job. Jordy's one of those who's just that she's I think she takes a lot of her cues from Rhonda. Rhonda Revelle means a lot to Jordy Ball, and I think she's as big a reason as any that Jordy came back. I don't think she's coming back if Rhonda Revelle's not the coach, unless there was another coach that she felt that way about. Those two, obviously, it was a disappointment when she flipped after committing to Nebraska. Rhonda obviously never held it against her, stayed in touch. I think that's one of the pieces that had to be in place for her to make the jump back. But yeah, she gives good answers. She speaks from the heart. But she also is making sure she's not telling you anything she shouldn't be telling you. Okay, hey, here's a moment here. Boom, got it. The memory of the year was the Huskers beating Arkansas with a walk-off home run to get that WCWS game win. That was unbelievable. That before that, my favorite Husker game was I believe it was 3 years ago. They were in the Stillwater Regional for the second straight year, or maybe second straight year, and it was one of the most kick me moments of my life. I'm like, when I saw where they were ranked, I knew they were going to get a bid, and I'm like, I will go anywhere but back to Stillwater, because I had gone in 22, and I was like, I just don't want to smell all that cow shit again. Sorry, but I just should have power through, and it didn't smell like that this year, so maybe they found some way to help that a little. But anyway, I ended up missing a 9-inning defeat of Wichita State to stay alive and then make the final against Oklahoma State in that regional, and it was just the most amazing game. They get down by 2 runs, get it back, not score this inning, score a couple the next inning. They did not take the lead until they scored the winning run in the bottom of the ninth. And here they had to score, I think, two or three to tie it up in the bottom of the 7th. Nobody scores in the 8th. In the top of the 9th, Wichita State scores a pair, and Nebraska scores 3 in the bottom of the 8th, or the bottom of the 9th, like a head first dive at home, beating the throw. And I was watching it and writing it up and just kicking the shit out of myself for not going to that game. So yeah, I will, whenever I can make a postseason anything, I'm going to be there. And this game is the only game I can think of that would knock that one off the top slot for most exciting game I ever watched. That was just unbelievable. Ava hitting it out, bursting into tears before she even got to second base, and then. Oh, and I had asked Rhonda, did you ever think of pulling? Yeah, I talked about that earlier. Did you ever think of pulling Jordy in that game? And she's like, no. One word answer, done. Everybody has a good laugh at my expense. I couldn't have been happier. And then I see the on Twitter the next day, or I see somebody goes, damn, Jensen almost beat Cusack home, or something like that. Jensen was in the bullpen. I think that at 10 innings, that was going to be the plug pulled. So, no, you lied to me, Rhonda Revelle. I bet she would have come out if Ava doesn't hit that home run. Or else, what's Jensen doing down there? Just keeping warm, and you're going to let her go to the 11th? I think if she was in there warming up, I think she meant to bring her in. The next time I run into her, I'm gonna give her a little crap and ask her, are you going to bring her in? Be honest. But yeah, holy crap. Yeah, Jensen, I think she might have actually ended up passing Cusack as Cusack was going from third to home. Yeah, what a moment. Unbelievable. You didn't have like mad cheering in the press box, but you just had a lot of us looking around, just smiles from ear to ear. Fantastic. It felt Tiger Shark. It felt so great with that walk-off homer. I think we got deer in the headlights. Our last championship was 2017 for volleyball. Yeah, so that's probably the closest thing we have to compare this to is how we've been like losing it. What it was the regional final last year, or the second regional or whatever, the final 8. Let's call it, and then the year before, what we lost in the final 4. We got smoked by Texas. So yeah, that's comparable. That's getting very, very close. Not winning it, but I'd still rather be there. I'd still rather have the heartbreak there than, shit, 4-8. Well, at least I didn't get worked up. I want to be worked up. Todd Prather, yeah, he's getting into it. Todd Prather, let's go Huskers, go Big Red. We'll be back. I'll throw a few others at me. And I love that Miley was literally the first one on my list, was beating Texas and then beating Texas Tech. And against Texas, we beat them 8-5, and we smashed them in the first inning. Jordy led off the game with a homer, and then Ava hit a 3-run bomb. And then we're up 4-0, and I think they catch up a little. And then Emerson Cope hit a 3-run homer, and then we rocked them for 8 runs there. And then the third weekend, we go and blow out 2 ACC teams that are both ranked in the top 15. We beat South Carolina 9-1 by the run rule, and we handled Texas A&M, who might have been still in the top 10, or I think they'd lost some their first 2 weekends. But they started in the top 10 and fell out. But we beat them 8-2, and then the 4-3 win over Okie State was the first time in 4 tries we got over on Ruby Malin. Now Ruby didn't start that game, but neither did Jordy. I think Jensen and Riley Crandall started, and the 2 of them took over when it was tied up, and they both pitched the last 4 innings. But we got some strung together like 3 or 4 hits, and got 2 runs in on Ruby, and Jordy finally had her first win over Ruby, because I think she got the win, Ruby got the loss, and then we never lost to Ruby again. They came here, which is down the list, the super regional. Yeah, I'm going to get Connor next year, and then the super regional, knocking Ruby out of the game twice after she had beat us 8-0 with Washington in the injury game. Beat us 1-0 the next season at Oklahoma State, won a 1-0 battle against Jordy. And then the first game this year, she didn't get the win, but she pitched 10 innings, and Lex came on in the 8th and just mowed him down 8th, 9th, 10th, and then gave up a home run to, was it Rosie? I can't remember her last name, for Oklahoma State in the 11th, and we lost that game. So even though Ruby didn't win that game, she still pitched 10 innings, struck out like 9, walked 1, only gave up 1 run, and then we lost 2-1. Ruby was our nemesis, and to get her 3 in a row and at least even the books as her career came to an end, but we bombed her off the mound twice, and that was great. Connor, good call here. Shutting down UCLA in the Big Ten championship. That might have been the most heated I got in a game. I didn't yell, because I didn't want somebody screaming from the press tent at Maryland on the Nebraska side. And, that's kind of a no-no. But the Husker fans got heated. The team got heated. They're up 2-0. Megan Grant's hit her NCAA 38th homer, whatever, breaking her the NCAA single season record. They're up 2-0. It's not feeling great. Then we get bases loaded, and with Jordy on first, grounder to second. Second baseman runs up, pulls up, and Jordy runs into her hard. But that doesn't knock her to the ground. She's not acting hurt. She's just laughing. And Kelly Inouye Perez, I'm going to say her name every time I bring it up, challenges for malicious intent to get Jordy kicked out of the game. They were really, really just looking for that greasy, easy way to victory. It was ethically shit. I would be embarrassed if, let's just say, Texas. Let's say we're playing Texas and Katie Stewart runs into somebody. I would have been embarrassed for Rhonda if she tried to get Katie Stewart kicked out of the game. I don't think she'd ever pull something like that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Nebraska fan. You're talking about a coach who's been kicked out of 2 games in a 40 year career. This was her 40th year. So who's been kicked out of games twice in 40 years. And I know one of them was last year when the Indiana coach lost her mind, charged the ump, and I think the next half inning, Rhonda took her second visit to the mound, and then she got kicked out. And I'm still convinced she did it on purpose because she wanted to go calm the Indiana coach down a little because she's just that nice. But yeah, she tries to get Jordy kicked out. I think we would have had some drunk Nebraska fans on the field because they were pretty oiled up for that final. A few of them, not everybody. We're Nebraska nice, but if they had upheld her challenge and thrown Jordy out of the game, you might have seen some people rush to the field. Nate Rohr, my guy, your guy on the radio for Husker Sports Network, was just going out of his mind on radio. He is calling it the most Bush League thing he's ever seen, which is settling me down because I'm cracking up because Nate is just letting Kelly Inouye Perez have it with both guns on what a low rent shirt lifting, freaking cheap shot move that was. Great choice for best game. And then what do we do? Very next bat, bases loaded, and I still remember we got Kura on first. And then we've got pinch runners. We got I think it was Kaneda on second and Kennedy Williams on third. And those two score on the single. They throw home. They got no chance of Kaneda, but now they're flustered. Throw home. They botch the throw home, and it comes, I think, bouncing off the catcher back about halfway up the third base line in foul territory. And Hannah Kaur just says YOLO, and she goes for home. And they try to throw a soft pitcher, and the pitcher, like Tinsley's flinching back, not wanting to catch it, or whoever was there, the plate catching. It might have been their first baseman. And so they get scored. And those three girls turn around and just start letting UCLA have it. It was like, yeah, I don't think they're cussing or anything at them. But when I watched that again, I didn't catch it at the game. I caught it when I was watching the replay of it that was posted on Twitter by the Big Ten. And you see, especially Kennedy Williams and Hannah Kaur just turn around and screaming, and they're screaming at Tinsley that she's just walking away to the mound. She got a couple in the face, I think, that she just walks to the mound, and they're yelling, and it was over. We're up 3-2, and it's over. You just sense that's it. And then Casey Hoffman, who got hit in the wrist earlier, just bombs one out to right field. 7-2. Done. Jordy mows them down. See, you wouldn't want to be but just a really fired up moment for me. I love that choice. Thank you, Connor. Nice damn job. Connors, I think Andy would like to be a grandpa. Do you and Miley want to have kiddos? Well, I guess Connor can respond to that if he wants, but he certainly doesn't have to. I would suspect yes, but yeah, there's no pressure on me. Do what you want, man. Live your life, have fun. I would suspect their mother has a much less it's your choice opinion on it. I think that's going to be, yeah, there you go, Connor. And maybe you're starting to fight too. Miley's here, but yeah, they got a Tatum, man. I'm already a grandpa. I've got a goodest little furry boy grandson. Life's good. I'm in no hurry. And then here's a couple others. When we swept Michigan to start the Big Ten regular season, that was huge. They were all close. Those were all close games. They were all within like 2 or 3 runs, and that was a magical weekend. Because I was going to say one of my other favorite things, and it was totally. It wasn't the plan. Near the end, you saw some people trying to ask Rhonda stuff that would get her emotional and make her cry because it got easier to do. But the first time it happened, I had just seen, I knew like Caitlin Kaneda's story, all Big Ten second baseman her freshman year, still a full-time starter sophomore year, injuries hit last year, and we won't go through them. But by the time she's fully healthy, you can't. It's too late to have a battle for second base. It's Lauren Kamenson's position. I thought there'd be more of a battle, especially the way I saw Kaneda hit in the fall, but nope, still Lauren's position. So she's a career that started as an all Big Ten honoree is ending as a pinch runner and a part-time player. But let's see, I think it was earlier in that weekend, or no, it was the weekend before, maybe. No, it was that one. Well, Jessie Farrell takes a pitch in between the eyes on the mask, and she's I think it was like maybe the first game of that series, and so she's out with concussion, and our backup catcher Carly Muehlbach later in that game had gotten twisted up with Sammy Bland on a pop foul, on the third base side, and she kind of got twisted up and scorpioned her spine a little as she caught it. So her back's hurting. She can't go. Our third string catcher, Olivia DiNardo's out for the season. I think it was with it was elbow surgery. She'd had off-season surgery that that she didn't play at all this year, so she could come back next year. She walked on senior day, but she has the option to come back. And so the only other catcher was Lauren Kamenson, second baseman, because she caught a bunch of games as a freshman. Here she is in her senior year. She caught a bunch of games as a freshman at Arkansas. So she goes to catch. Caitlin Caneda back at second. Oh, God. Caneda hits 2 homers. Both of the homers were absolutely crucial to winning those games. And Michigan has kind of been the team up till about 20 or 21 with they had just been the dominant team in the Big Ten year after year after year. And so beating them was important. And guess what? Last year they won the Big Ten conference tournament. So I think that was like the second year in a row they'd won that. So they were even with the new dynamic with Jordy, along with Washington, Oregon, and UCLA coming to the Big Ten. You have it's a different dynamic, but yet Michigan's still winning these conference tournaments. And going to sweep that team was a big start. And then beating them, I love getting them in the open round of the Big Ten tournament because I'm like, this is going to be a tougher game than you think. They've already played us close, so they know they can play with us. And not only that, they've won this tournament the last 2 years. These girls come to Michigan thinking the Big Ten title, regular season title or tournament is their entitled birthright. So yeah, I love getting them and showing them, nope, 1, 2, 3, and beating them. The series against UCLA, Rhonda compared it to a super regional. Guess what? We both hosted super regionals. It really was a super regional type weekend, and we won 2 out of 3, which basically locked down the Big Ten title for us. We had a few series left, but the one team that had a decent chance of beating us, anything else was going to be a big upset. We beat them. Would be 4-1. We lost 6-5 and loaded the bases up with either nobody out or 1 out. So we were convinced we were at least going to extras in that one. That's the only one they won, and then we won 8-4. So let's see. So they had 10, 11. They scored 13 runs in 4 games against us and averaged 12 runs a game. I love the back-to-back shutouts against Grand Canyon, the 16 strikeout performance, followed by a 1-0 shutout to lock down the regional. Unbelievable. Already talked about the Ruby sweep. And then, as I think we've just agreed, a great place to end the show on, the Arkansas, what did the T-shirt? The T-shirt says something like "Made for the Moment." The made for the moment home run to beat Arkansas in extra innings and get that first College World Series win since 2002. Unbelievable. Great place to leave it tonight. Great place to leave it for the year. Real quick, I want to apologize to those of you who couldn't watch because the feed wasn't up on Twitter last week. If you read, I wrote about it. I think I tweeted about it and then I wrote about it. But if you didn't hear, basically StreamYard, who is like the hosting software for our podcast, I get this message, hey, the link to Twitter has been severed. So I'm getting a hold of somebody so they can reestablish it. And he goes, hey, you're all good to go, reestablished. And I heard all good to go. And it didn't occur to me that I need to reload the pod so it loads it up for Twitter. So I knew something was going on about a minute in when I'm used to seeing like 15 or 20 people starting to wander in, and there's like 3. And I'm like, oh, shit. So that's on me. Like I said, someday I'll learn half as much about podcasting ins and outs as I do about the sports themselves, and things will run smoother. So apologies. Go back and watch it. We had some fun last week, even if it was for a small audience. And I actually saw that a bunch of people did go back in and watch it later. The numbers jumped up some, so I was like, okay, it's not a total loss. But we'll definitely see you next year. February, we'll get going in like those first couple weeks for softball. I'm probably going to give it about 2 weeks for the movie fans. Tiger Shark Diver. He's one of our regulars on All the Right Movies. It's the Husker slanted sports movie podcast where we just do deep dives on all of our favorite sports movies, all of my favorite sports movies, and we always have a good time on that. And then once football starts, That'll be time for the Huskers happy hour, where we invite you to pour your favorite drink and let's rehash what's hopefully not as many painful weeks of football. And I think, yeah, you don't have to drink. I mean, just Propel. All I could find was like their, what do they call it? Their fitness water Propel, which tasted about the same to me. But I drink my Propel, but I also have some Sailor Jerry and a little Diet Coke or Coke Zero in a cup as well. And it just, loosens things up a little. I should say I don't see that many getting really bombed during the show. But yeah, this is it. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave what I said to Rhonda after that final press conference. But let's just say this is a year to remember. Who knows if we go back, appreciate it for what it was. I'm never going to forget this group. This group, and it's funny because it's easy to be happy when you win, but you know what? To keep winning, you have to keep staying happy. Obviously, we're not going to have a senior heavy team. Well, what last year we did? Last year was a young team, and then all of a sudden that young team, that young team was an experienced team real quick because of all the juniors turning seniors. We will returning this year, like key performers returning. Jessie Farrell's back. She's got one more year at catcher. Sammy Bland will still be hoovering everything at third. Just one of the most underrated, underappreciated, and super important cogs of this team. And she got hot for the postseason. Let's see, in the outfield, everybody in the outfield is gone except Natalia Hill. Now, I asked for Natalia Hill after one game where she'd made about her fourth or fifth diving catch of the year, and I'm like, let's get her in here just for the body of work she's doing out in left field. I think she stole 2 homers and had 6, 7, 8 just diving catches of sinking line drives. And I finished off by going, Natalia, we just see you in the field, but are you hiding some offensive skills from us? She's like, absolutely. she's a character. And so who knows, maybe she can hit. We got Alexis Jensen. She's the most important piece coming back in the circle. And then you got some, we lost some seniors that could hit, like Alina Felix, Caitlin Caneda. Kennedy Williams is back. Can she find her way onto the field, or is she just going to continue to fill the pinch run role? Nessa McMillan will be a junior, and as an incoming freshman, she was ranked as one of the top 150 incoming freshmen. Started some games, played some field, and center never really hit. Well, she got a chance to hit late in the season and just smashed a double off the right field wall in the corner. It got herself a double there. No, I think that ended up being a triple. She ended up getting a triple there because I think that was the one they tweeted, nice double, Nessa. And no, that was a triple. I was like, don't you treat her like that? That was a triple. So we got to see what she's got. We've got 7 incoming freshmen. Keep an eye on the website because I usually give it a week or two, maybe a week or so. And then last year I did a little 4-parter on looking ahead to 26, and now I'll do a looking ahead to 27. I'm curious to go back and see what I said last summer because I don't freaking remember. But yeah, I'll be back. Husker softball will be back. Hopefully we got a few more fans here. Nebraska Strong gives a little thanks for the podcast. Have a great night, everyone. Go Big Red. Right back at you, Nebraska Strong. I know you're probably already checked out, but that goes for all of you. Thanks for being there this season. Hopefully, I let it run a little long tonight because why not? We're done for a while. And yeah, let's just love this season. Love these girls for what they did. Appreciate it. Have nothing but fond memories. And just thinking about 3 months, we'll be bitching about softball or bitching about football. But like I said, come back in a couple weeks, and we'll get the movie pod going and just having a blast there. And I'll drag Miley into one that'll last like an hour and a half, and she'll complain about it being so long, and that's always entertaining. And we'll get to see. I'm going to have to make her come in a time or two just so we can see more of Tatum. And I'm going to have to go back down to Lincoln so I can play with Tatum. So that's on my bucket list. Goodbye, everybody. Love you guys to death. See you next season.